There we go. You guys see me now? Everybody good? All right, so if you noticed, we are on StreamYard now. So I used to run my live streams on OBS. And actually, the StreamYard, it was time to invest in a new broadcasting software. And if you notice, it's quite a bit bigger and it's got a better quality to it. Does that make sense? So you guys enjoy, if you guys think that's pretty cool, let me know what you think in chat. We got a really good live stream to talk about tonight. I went in a little bit early because it usually takes 10 or 15 minutes for everybody to kind of get into the stream. I told everybody I wasn't really going live until 8 anyways, but I figured I would go ahead and go live now anyway, whatever. So, yeah. We are going to be talking about a really good conversation tonight. Yes, we are. Yeah, I didn't know. What you say? Brutal went live. We're just gonna run with it then. So, anyways, okay. So we are going to be talking about if you guys probably some of you guys are probably coming from Kenny Sean's live stream. So shout out to him. Appreciate the shout outs as well. He put together a video. Actually, this was going to be my live stream anyways, but it just so happens that he actually created a video that was talking about, you know, the top 10, you know, things you should not do to a Foxbody. So it's just like, you know, that was a really good video. And, you know, of course it was controversial. So, you know, what's up, Anti-Rice? We'll come back to that. I'm going to get in the chat here. What's up, Wet Fox Bert? Broken Tool. What up? What up? 417 Fox, War Admiral. Good to see everybody. Anyways, we had talked about, you know, doing this live stream anyways. And it's kind of one of them, you know, I always like to have a structure in my live stream when I'm talking about, you know, top 10, top 5 this, you know, some things to help the Foxbody community out or what have you. But before I get started, what's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? Tim Webb, El Kuke Favo. Everybody that was involved with the Fox Days of Christmas, everything has been shipped. You know, you can see that. 13 of the 15 boxes have been shipped. 2 of them shipped tomorrow. And unfortunately, the $100 gift certificate for 417 Fox was not claimed in time. So I apologize, Ryan O'Shea. It is what it is. But anyways, we're going to be giving the certificate away on a future live stream whenever Mike decides he wants to do it. I think he's here in channel or what have you. Hey, good to see you. Was asking the same on your. Yeah, I got some old videos up there that are definitely old as hell. Appreciate appreciate checking that out, Boston. But anyways, we're going to be talking about the top 10 things you should not do to your Foxbody. If you're building a Foxbody now, we're not talking about today. This video in this live stream, it's kind of one of those things that you could actually talk to your community about in chats and what have you. So, oops. I definitely want you guys to understand that my video, you build your Foxbody the way you build your Foxbody. Like I build my Foxbody the way I build my Foxbody. You know, a lot of people hate the fact that I have 10.5-inch wheels on it, even though the wheel sits right there on the fender lip. I got a lot of guys that didn't like, you know, hey, that looks like shit. It looks like trash. You know, it's not 1992 anymore where the wheels stick out. And, you know, dude, I get it, man. You build your Foxbody the way you build your Foxbody. So I am going to talk to you guys tonight about the top 10 things that you shouldn't do to your Foxbody, building your Foxbody in a mechanical sense. Now, pretty much everything that I'm about to talk about all y'all are going to probably say, yep. And I'm going to tell you that I currently own about 75 Fox bodies. And I have owned over probably 500 of them over my period of 20 years. And I have seen so many things that, I mean, I found, you know, stuff that I found and just things that people have done to these Fox bodies in the last 10 or 15 years. And maybe this video can help you. This is more of kind of like a helpful video, like don't do this to your Fox body. And it's kind of like a forewarning thing. It's not going to be a preference thing that I don't care what wing you run. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that Kenny was messing around on his video, and I think he was talking about my dash when he said about the monster dash, the monster tack, and I don't really care. I need that monster tack when I'm racing because the factory cluster doesn't work worth a shit, and it's hard to see, you know, when you're racing trying to check out your factory, you know, your cluster, whatever. So my monster tack's kind of there for a purpose, not for show. But you know, I didn't take any offense to it. I actually kind of snickered a little bit, but anyways, we're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about, let me see here. What's up, Handle Motorsports? So anyways, why did I open another water? I got a top 10 here that I've been thinking about all day. You see right here, blah, blah, blah. And these are the things that I've seen that you probably shouldn't do. And I'm going to give you kind of a solution and a reason why. So, what's this? Attach the nozzle switch to the gas pedal. Yeah. So, the number 10, I was going to wait for a few more people to get in chat because, like I said, somebody had said that Brutal had went. Did he go live for real? Hope he's doing okay. Hope you're doing all right, Nakia. I hope your live stream is, hope it's well. Anyway, my number 10, and I'm going to start from the top of the list, is probably, and like I said, it's probably something, you know, this is a preference thing, but the one thing that you probably should try to avoid is the HD headlights. Now, you guys know what I'm talking about with the ballast and stuff that beam out these blue lights or whatever. Well, it's not the actual light and ballast idea to begin with. It's more or less from a mechanical standpoint. If you're not running a 3G alternator, if you're not running a good relay setup, fuse setup on those ballasts, you're going to burn your damn Fox body down because those things command a lot of power. So when I've seen those over the years, they've always were rat nested together and built into the headlight harness. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the headlight harness is already at a disadvantage to begin with. So, you know, if you can avoid, if you're building a Fox body, number 10, don't put the HD lights on that car. If you're going to do the HD lights, then at least run like a relay fusible link setup and set it up in tangent with your headlight harness. Now, I started with that one because I've taken 3 or 4 of those HD ballast setups off of Fox bodies. And when I took the headlight harness out, like half of the wires were just like literally melted. So it's not a sufficient source of power. Does that make sense? So I guess the solution would be, again, HD headlights are your own preference with the ballasts or whatever. And people run them, and there's no reason why you shouldn't. But just consider the fact that if you're going to run them, at least hook them up correctly, right? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to run them, and they look like shit, because honestly, these headlights, you know, Fox body headlights don't beam out really well to begin with, right? In any sort of LED, any sort of extra brightness would help us at night when we're driving the car. But HD lights set up on stock wiring harness is probably a big no-go. And it's just pretty much from a safety point, because, I mean, it's just, they just command too much power. Does that make sense? So most of my top 10 that I'm going to be talking about today actually derive around that exact thing. It actually derives around, you know, more or less the the safety part and the mechanic side of it, not the preference cosmetic side of it. I'm gonna be talking to you about some of the dumbest shit that have seen in 20 years, and that's really what this whole live stream is about. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're running the HD lights, it's fine, but guys, make sure you're powering them correctly with the relays and the fusible links, because like I said, that we're talking about 35-year-old harnesses. There's no way in 1989, hell, mid 80s, that they figured any sort of HD thing out, right? So I just got LED. Now LEDs are different, but I'm talking about the ballast. You guys know what I'm talking about, the HD light ballast or whatever. Just make sure if you're going to run them, you're going to build a Foxbody, make sure they're powered correctly and they have the proper relay and fusible links set up. You know what I mean? So that would be my number 10, bro. Well, what's going on here? So moving on. Now, some of these I've actually double tapped because they go hand in foot. Now, I'm going to move into the carb game, okay? We're going to move it. This is number 9. I'm going to move into the carb game. And it's just like everyone's like, well, you shouldn't be commenting on carburetors because carburetors are faster than EFI and all that other shit. Guys, that's not what I'm about to talk about. Carburetors are damn fast. You will get sent. You will get gapped on a carburetor if you're not looking right. But we are going to talk about some of the dumbest shit from carbureted cars that I have messed with in the past that I've seen. That just I don't know. It never made any sense that they would do this. If you can avoid it, don't cut. Don't cut the rear spare tire sheet metal out to access the fuel pump. Now, this happens with the EFI guys too. And I said carb, and I shouldn't have, because I'm going to double tap on it with the carbureted stuff. So I don't even know why I even went on the tangent with that. The EFI thing, if you're going to fix your fuel pump, okay, and you're not really sure how to change your fuel pump, don't cut the sheet metal in the car just to get to the fuel pump. Honestly, the fuel pump, the fuel tank itself is only held up by 2 like 15-millimeter bolts in brackets. Like literally, the whole thing will fall down in your face if you just take 2 out. You see what I mean? Along with the feed tube. So do yourself a favor. I mean, I've seen it, I don't know how many times. The whole section of like the rear hatch area where the spare tire is, people would just cut them out, and obviously it's been cut out to access the fuel pump panel, which doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're really easy to drop. So yeah, I thought it's either 15 or half. I mean, do it right the first time. Listen, you can, and the reason why I'm out here telling you this top 10 is to maybe save the value of your car. You see what I mean? Like somebody sees that, say you put like 10 grand into your Foxbody, and then I see something like that, then I'm going to think to myself, what other hack stuff did you do to this car? You see what I mean? And it's not that it's, I get it if you're in an emergency situation, you got to cut it open, you're stuck on the highway, whatever. But if you can avoid doing that, that would probably be preferred, because, outside of a fuel cell being in that spot, which is perfectly fine, cutting it just to access the tank below it, that's not the right way to do it. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about doing a whole series of videos on all the really easy things to work on a Foxbody. Not like an 8 or 10, 12-minute video that's clickbaitable, but more of like a 3 or 4-minute video like, hey, this is how you change your calipers. Here, this is how you change your tank. Here, this is how you do this. That way it kind of helps the Foxbody community more. And that's basically all I'm really trying to do here on this live stream. It's just, try to open your eyes to some of the dumbest shit I've ever done in my life. And I've done some of that stuff too. So is it the right thing to do? No. So yeah, I got highlighted count. So what I'm doing is for you guys, if you guys that know, it was time for me to go ahead and upgrade my broadcasting. It does look better. It is bigger on the screen. So we are running on StreamYard now, and The nice thing about StreamYard, I bought into the StreamYard, the upgrade, like the licensing, so I could bring people in when I wanted to bring people in on the channel, and we could have like a conversation. I could have 2 panels. Funky 50 goes live all the time, and I jump in there once in a while. And you could, you know, he brings in a couple of his friends, and all they do is talk shop for like an hour. So it's pretty cool. I definitely dig it. I definitely thought it was time for a upgrade. Whatever you do, don't paint it baby blue. What's up, Gearhead 704? Good to see you guys. So, what's up, Nathan Tuck? Hey, I appreciate the guys in the green. If you guys are curious why their names are in the green, they are part of the channel members. If you want to click the join button below, check it out, become a member of the channel. There are perks for being a member of the channel. So I do appreciate everybody, and I appreciate everybody that's part of that. Broken Tool Garage, Timothy Brisick, Lockness Fox. I've got to replace my rear frame rail next year, and I'm going to have to replace the trunk floor at the same time. Yeah. I mean, there's good sheet metal out there. I've got a ton of it, you know, but, you know, it's just some of the craziest shit that I've ever seen. And excuse my French if people are watching, you know, I'll cut it off if you know, if there's kids around. So just holler at me in chat, say, stop it. So moving on, we are moving on to Happy New Year to you, Turbo Fox. We are moving on to, what was that, number 9? Oh, here we go. Y'all ready for the whiteboard? Number 10, HD lights, ballast. Do proper wiring, right? HD lights. Y'all see that? Number 9, don't cut spare floor. Woo! Got the whiteboard out, boys. Holy shit. Don't cut spare in the floor, whatever. You guys know what it is. You guys chime in. You guys can chime in on chat too on some of the stuff I'm telling you. Like I said, this top 10 isn't going to be, you know, like I said, it's not going to be like the same as Kenny Sean's did with Blue Oval. I mean, he did his in a different style, kind of more of a jokingly style. You know, I'm pretty sure that Monster Attack comment was for me, but I don't care. I kind of snickered. I'm like, what? But this was going to be more of a informational thing, and you know, I've been wanting to do this. I wanted to start the year off with a top 10 because you guys seem to like that stuff. Top 5, top 10, and we get to engage in a lot of chat and conversation. So, Anti-Ricer, I watched your video on the fuel pump mod in 340. Unfortunately, my fuel pump is an Aeromotive, which has the wires coming from it. Is there a way to add a thicker wire cage? So, okay, look, when you're going to do the wire pump mod, if you guys watch my last video, or you are doing the feed the beast like I normally do with all my cars, then if you got one of the pumps that have the hard wires, just feed the 10 gauge up to it. So the longer the small wire, if I remember correctly, the longer the smaller of the 2 wires is, the more resistances it can cause. So if you have 10 gauge pretty much coming right up to the pump with a little bit of a 16 sticking out of it, I'm pretty sure you're going to get a majority of the power to the pump. And I think that's kind of how it was explained to me when I was first messing with it, because that's I've actually installed a pump just like that, I don't know, 10 years ago and 5 years ago when I first started messing with the Feed the Beast stuff. You know what I mean? That video. And I think that's what somebody had said. Oh, Lockness Fox coming in with a 1999 super sticker. Dude, I appreciate the super sticker, my dude. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. That goes towards the channel. Helps me buy StreamYard. Helps me buy really cool Christmas gifts. Gearhead, do you warehouse selling small tire? Oh, okay. You're right about kids around watching. This is in the living room with kiddos. Okay, so I'll keep it to a minimum. My apologies. What's up, GS462? I joined. Why it's not showing up? Not real sure. Should be showing up. So Handler Motorsports. Be sure to, okay. Anyways, moving on. We are at number 8. All right. This should actually be up the list. So I think I'm going to switch this one and one of the other ones. I really like this one. God dog it. There's so many good ones. Okay. We're going to switch this one and screw it. Let's go. All right. Carburetor setup. Moving over to the carb guys. Guys, I'm not knocking on your carbs. Not knocking on your carbs. Definitely, dude, if carburetor's your thing, shout out to you. Because I know a lot of carbureted cars that are super fast. Matter of fact, my buddy Timmy Combs, the sheriff, which you guys seen the yellow coupe here on the channel, the car runs 1020s with a 460 big block on a carb, bro. So, anyways. Hey, Nathan Tuck's wife, you need to chill out, bro. Anyways, so number 8 is if you are going to carb swap your car, do me a large, solid favor. Do not cut the mass air harness. Please. Don't cut the harness. I've seen too many carb cars that I've actually messed with that they just chop the harness right off right there at the cowl panel. And it's just like, we're at an age with Foxbodies that somebody needs that harness. And I've made a video that shows all the years of all the harnesses, especially a V850 EFI harness. Bro, save that harness, save that ECU, which is next, and don't cut the harness. My man Loch Ness Fox, one of many, could have used your harness to upgrade their car. And it's like, how many of you guys have seen that? And it's like the engine harness themselves, okay? You can pull it out. It's not that hard. That could be a video that I do for you guys. One of them stupid how-to videos, because I'm really thinking about bringing out a long list of a playlist of just generic, basic how-to things where they're like 3 or 4 minutes long. That way, if you're working on your Foxbody, you can jump over to this playlist, click on it, and be like, I don't know how to remove my harness. I think that shit will be fire. It's not going to be a lot of views, but it's going to be more help than it is views and viral. Does that make sense? Can I do this? Carlos Rivera, appreciate the super sticker, my man. $20 towards the channel, man. I appreciate it. Who else had one up there? Loch Ness Fox. Loch Ness Fox as well. Man, I appreciate you guys supporting the channel, my guys. Appreciate it. And we have a new member. GS462, new member to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Frankenstein's Garage in the house. Bro, I didn't get home and somebody already hit me up on those heads. I'm going to be honest with you. You couldn't sell it and finance a carb swap with it. Right. So, perfect. Let me get this right now. Let me get his comment. That's what I like about the StreamYard. You could probably sell your harness, that 89 harness especially. If it's not all jacked up and cut up, I'm going to tell you right now, they sell all day $300 to $400 on eBay. All day. Okay? If you definitely want to go carburetor and that's your thing, your harness and your ECU will give you the money you need and then some to buy a good intake and a good carb and the throttle linkage, right? And be done with it. Don't. And I've been telling everybody for all these streams for all these years, don't throw away your Foxbody parts. Don't. It's getting the resto modding is here. The resto part of these cars are here. I'm telling you. I'm gonna swap mine out to a carb and just tucked it in. Yeah. So going back to the cutting the mass air harness or the engine harness, you can tuck it into your bay. You could tuck it into your fender. That's an okay place to do it. But to be honest with you, it doesn't have a hole for that. So it's best that you just go ahead and remove it. Easiest way to remove an engine harness is not with a Sawzall. The easiest way to remove it is from the bottom. You know, you can get around the heater box pretty easy. Parts much harder to find now. That's right. I still have all my original harness before I did. That's good. That's good. When you're building a Foxbody, keep everything you got, put it in the side corner. Hot item. That's right. That's right. Where can I find pins to rewire a stock harness? Mostly asking about new edge stuff. Actually, I think NPD. Go to NPD's website, National Parts Depot. Robotool harness I bought was 150 a few years ago. That's right. Great video, short repair harnesses. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing. If you guys are curious, I'm thinking about honestly doing a just like a run of videos. Now they're going to be all shorts. Like I'm not going to make a 8 or 9 minute, 10-minute video about how to change a caliper or how to change a or how to drop a fuel tank, right? I'm talking about basic mechanic stuff because we got a lot of new people here in our Foxbody genre that might not know how to do that stuff. So they'll cut their freaking, their sheet metal like I was talking about because they don't know how to replace it. Do you suggest a Foxbody as a first car? I do not. Holly sells a lot of pins. That's right, DK, they do. Where can I find, okay. So moving on, that was number 8. Don't cut your harness. If you're going to carb it, which is fine, do your thing. Your harness could actually fund your carburetor and your intake and your ECU. So that moves me into, and I'm out of order here. Good Lord. Got the whiteboard though. Number 8. Don't cut engine harness. See that? So you guys see where I'm going with this live stream, right? Like I'm doing this for, this is just a top 10. You guys say you like that stuff. So I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring this type of content to my channel because, I've been doing this, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I've been doing this about 20 years. But first off, I want to give a quick shout out to Frankenstein Garage. Frankenstein Garage has an ultra blue LX converted to GT. I had met, if I could say your name, if you don't care, I met him. I picked up another Fox in Lancaster down in past Columbus in Ohio, and he had been selling a pile of parts, and that was like 3 miles from the same location. So multitasked it. I didn't know he was Frankenstein Garage here on YouTube, and he was one of my followers. Didn't get a chance to catch a picture with him, but I look like a bum. So, I kind of don't want to look like a bum. So I do appreciate the hookup, and it was nice to meet you. Got another new member. Hybrid sheet. What the? Okay. Welcome to the channel. I'm going to have to go back to EFI when I drop the 351-inch. I'm positive that my chip in my computer got trashed in the flood. Okay. What happened here? Especially okay. Yes, they went to good use. Loch Ness, you are starting a new harness and ECU yeah, you know what? To be honest with you, the Terminator X is probably just the way to go. I'm going to be honest with you. Also, Foxbody owners, would any of y'all be interested in carbon fiber fiberglass? If y'all can donate cores, okay. Anti-Ricer, have you done any videos on dash swaps? That's one of my how-to videos. I have a whole list of them. I plan on swapping my 86 to a later one. I want a double din. I need to mount the 7-inch Holly. Okay. Where are we at? Okay, so to double back on number 8. don't cut your engine harness. Number 7. Don't throw your ECU away. So if you're carb swapping, if you're EFI having problems with your computer, don't carb swap. Or don't throw your EFI computer away. Don't throw the computer out. And the reason why I have this open is because I'm going to show y'all. Always want to save that sticker. These little blue capacitors, you see them there? These are, see how this thing's moving really easy? Look at that, it's already broke off. See it? That's one of the major problems with ECUs. See that? These other two are fine, and this one's bleeding. If you look really close, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me know if you see it. If you look really close, you can see it bleeding. Probably not holding it right. Anyways, that's usually what's wrong with ECUs. It's these 3 capacitors. They're 16 volt, 47 microfarad. And these things get bled. These things break. They become just junk. That's usually what's wrong with the ECU. Now, there are some traces that get burned up in here. You know what I mean? And this stuff is fixable. Like, there's companies out there like myself, ECU Exchange. I think Fox Resto does that. Matt down at Fox Resto fixes them too. Guys, don't throw these away. Even if they don't work, send them off to a company. I mean, one bad cap doesn't make it not work, but usually the trace, like somebody was saying right here. Let me get this right here. Nathan Tuck. Fox Resto is an ECU guru. If you guys don't know who Fox Mustang Resto is, it's Matt and Jen down at they do the Foxtoberfest. I think they do Chocolate Fox. Now, Matt's been around the game a long time. I've known Matt quite a few years. And he actually has the original machine that can tell him, the fuel pump circuit, power on, and stuff like that. So, if you're having a problem with your computer, okay, and it's not working and you think it's the computer, whatever, don't throw the junk one out. Because honestly, 90% of the time it's those capacitors or easily, like I think it's Trace 46 is the O2 one that's always burned out. But to be honest with you, I haven't seen a computer in a while that's just absolutely trash that I couldn't fix or mess with. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at the ProWire USI, yeah, there's a couple of them, so you guys can chime in on them. And in tangent with number 7, don't throw ECU out. Look at that. Number 7, don't throw ECU out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to caveat on number 7. You guys are going to probably laugh, but whatever. I don't care what you read on the internet. A Taurus V6 ECU will run a Mustang, but it doesn't run it good. And an F-151s are usually, most of them are speed density, if I remember correctly. So if you see an ECU that looks like this, you probably want to stay away from it. It's probably not a Foxbody, even if it does say remanufactured on the back. So you want to be finding, and you want to have computers that have nomenclatures on it. What a nomenclature is A9P. You see that? It's a nomenclature. It's the big letters. E9ZF 12A650, if I remember correctly. This is what you want. I love speed density. I'm going to be honest with you. So I have actually physically ran this computer on a Mustang. Did it run right? No. But if that's a DC or a DA1 ECU, I'll buy it from you, Stephen King. I ain't got no damn problem with that. I love speed density. And I always carry DA1 and DC around. So if you want to get rid of it, let me know. My 4.6 can run a 5.0 with some wiring tinkering. That's right. So there are things that can work. The T4MO computer will work if you pin out a little bit differently. And if you don't know what the T4MO is, the T4MO computer is the factory Mass Air 9495 computer. It's supposed to be a little bit easier to tune with too, because of the sensors or what have you, but I've never actually done the mod. So with that being said, that would be number 7 with the caveat on the ECU. Don't put an ECU in that has no reason to be in there without doing some sort of modification. So building a Foxbody, don't do it. Scott Doyle, appreciate the super chat. What's up to you, my man? $4.99 to the channel, man. I appreciate you supporting the channel to allow me to do things like this. And like I said, if you guys didn't notice, we are on StreamYard now, which is a little bit higher quality, and you guys probably can tell. I don't know. I'm trying to watch it as well. It looks a little bit bigger or whatever, so pretty cool. The Explorer 5.0 camshaft sensor and crank sensor fit a okay. I took my 86 out with the Terminator X. I have it. Okay. Number 6. Okay, so number 6 is kind of it kind of goes hand in foot with wiring. If you're going to wire tuck your car, don't wire tuck your car and not properly mount the wiring outside of the engine bay. So like there's a lot of good videos. I think Tip did one, the infamous project, and I think Foxcast did one years ago. It was a really good one. Like don't wire tuck your car and expect it not to catch on your strut, your coilovers. You know, do yourself a favor and buy you know, some wire clamps. So, you know, you can drill them into your backside of your firewall. And if you're going to tuck it, make it nice. You know what I mean? Make it nice in the back. What I've seen in the past is I've seen people wire tuck, and, you know, they put the solenoids in the back and what have you. And it's just an absolute rat nest. And then what happens is they don't end up putting the splash guard back on, which is pretty common. And then they get all seasoned out with rain and shit and all that, rain and stuff, and everything gets corroded. And it's just like, you know, have you ever looked at wiring that it was full of mud? I'm telling you, all those connectors will get corroded. All those connectors will get wet. Even with the plastic splash guard. So there's nothing wrong with wire tucking. I don't care about that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with wire tucking. But if you're gonna wire tuck, then do it right. Otherwise, you could cause a fire. You could have you could have little demons in your wiring that you can't even figure out. You see what I mean? So number 6 was wire tucks done wrong. Wire tuck done wrong. Do it right the first time, my dude. Now, I'm going to tell you, probably in the next 5-10 years, there's going to be probably a group of us that are going to be judging Foxbodies. Foxbodies are getting to the point that resto modding and just complete restos are going to be important. And, you know, those who have already spent the years, voluntarily or not, you know, learning Foxbodies inside and out and their, you know, part numbers and stuff. I'm going to tell you that, you know, wire tucking, if you tuck your wire, I'm going to look at that, you know, and who cares what I think? But the point I'm trying to make is don't make it look tacky and protect it. Like, don't wrap it in a bunch of tape, you know, put a good big convoluted or friction or some sort of covering around your wiring on your tuck. but don't make it where you can't access it, because you might have a solenoid problem, or you might have a wiring or cannon plug problem, and then you can't figure it out because it's in your engine bay or outside of your engine bay, and you don't even know what's wrong. So, all right. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Tim. The stream is great. I appreciate that. Funky 50 did some wire tucking. Okay. Yep. Funky 50 did some wire tucking. So check out his channel. You guys don't know who Funky 50 is? It's Sean Martin up there in Michigan. Has about 2,000 subscribers, and he always streams on Friday nights. So shout out to my man, Funky 50. And we have a new member, War Admiral 363. If you guys don't know who War Admiral 363 is, he probably has one of the sweetest notchbacks in the planet. He spent a lot of meticulous time in detail on his car. He's on Instagram, same name. I'm pretty sure it's same way it is right now. I'm not just out there trying to advertise for him. I'm telling you, this notchback is bad. So, yeah, it's got a diffuser and all. It's awesome. Yeah, I like the factory wiring harness as is too. I like to use zip tie. I'm a zip tie guy. So, like when I'm when I'm doing a factory harness, I'm zip tying and tucking and zip tying and tucking and moving and zip tying and whatever. I just bought an 86 private collection, 50K miles, bone stock. What's the first thing I should do? Gears. 86, first thing I would do, set you under the car, I would do subframes, but gears. Gears are the first noticeable thing you can do to your car. My wire tuck in looms, that's right. I mean, heat wrap in loom. Welcome, okay. All notchbacks are nice. You got that right. Now, I am going to do a video about notchbacks, but I'm going to be honest with you. Notchbacks are so popular. I don't know. I'm going to give you a real quick fact. It has nothing to do with how popular they are. But if you guys go, I challenge you. If you're out there bored at work or sitting on the crapper or whatever, and you're just bored and you're just kind of going through your Facebook, go look up the production numbers of coupes. So they call them sedans back in the 80s and 90s. One of the main reasons why coupes are at a shortage is because they didn't really make a lot of them. They weren't a popular car at all. They made a ton of GT convertibles. That was probably the most produced in Foxbody, if you guys didn't know that. But that's just a little bit of history. Go check out the production numbers if you ever get an opportunity. I sent you a pic, Dan. I appreciate it. 373s all day. So, wire tuck done wrong. That's number 6. Wow, we're about 45 minutes in already. We get towards the end of the channel. I'm going to try to, I might try something new. Virtual the bank. 355 with turbo. Yeah, if you start turbo in your car, well, Tim, let me caveat on the 355s. I run 355s, and I like to run 327 first gears, 335 first gears. So 355 is a great gear for a stock T5 or a TKX, with a 327 first gear. The rule of thumb, when you're trying to gear a car, a Foxbody for, acceleration and drivability and stuff like that, try to get your numbers between, and I'm going off topic here, and I'm sorry, but try to get your numbers between 6.50 and 7. See that? So how you would do that is my first gear on my TKX is 327. My rear gears is 355. And that pretty much equals what? 6.82. That's just a number. That's just a number. I'm a numbers guy in my head. So 6.82 seems to be a really good, desirable acceleration number for me. So where this really comes in play, a 373 gear on a T56, like a 297 first gear. Let me show you. So is it 295? I think it's 297s on my T56. 297 plus 373 would be a great gear, because that would pretty much be the same as me running a 327 with a 355. Now when I'm talking about acceleration, I'm talking about turbo, NA, all that stuff. It's kind of a happy medium. It's not perfect, but it works pretty good. I don't know. Now, when it comes to automatics, guys, I do apologize to my automatic guys, but the same formula kind of still applies, you know, knowing what first gear you have in your AOD and or C4. So stock T5s are 3.35. So moving on, number 5. Now I gotta clean my board here. Give me a second. Moving on to number 5. I gotta clean it with brake cleaner because I don't know where my cousin Paul lost my dry erase sticker. Everybody blame cousin Paul because I don't. No, don't do that. I don't care. I just get a new whiteboard. I don't know where my dry eraser thing is. Brake cleaner does it all, baby. So, moving on to number 5. This is kind of a pet peeve more than it is anything. Guys, if you're putting together, you're building a Foxbody, you got a roller, you don't have a whole lot of parts to it, and you're trying to figure out, you know, put like the transmission in, you're trying to put the axle in, you know, had it built or whatever. Guys, get the right bolts. And if you don't know what the right bolts are, you know, leave a comment in the channel, ask on Facebook, what have you. One of the biggest pet peeves that I've seen in like 20 years is I've seen people using, like, they'll slam a 7/16 bolt into a bell housing, which is supposed to be an M12, and they'll ruin the threads. Will it tighten down? Yeah, but they'll ruin the threads of the bell housing because they didn't have the right bolts. So when you're building a Foxbody, make sure if you don't know what sizes they are, you don't know what bolts they are, and you don't have them, they're pretty easily, you know, you just ask one of the channels and they can tell you. Like, you know, the bell housing's an M12, I think it's 35 millimeter. I think the bell housing, the block is 7/16, inch and a quarter at the top, and inch and 3/4 on the sides. I mean, that's an easy comment for me to help you with. All the axle bolts are all, I think, M10, 100 and 120 millimeter long. I mean, I can help you that, and then you can go over to like websites like Bolts and Nuts and whatever these websites are to order bolts, and you can order aftermarket bolts for your car that actually fit your car. You see what I mean? So I've seen too many, you know, just hodgepodge, you know, hardware, you know, 50 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent bolts, you know, that aren't even grade 8 or 10.9s and just in the wrong place. So if you're building a Foxbody, do yourself a favor. And this goes for controller, or excuse me, this goes for the K-member and control arms and stuff like that too. If you lose your hardware, do the proper math and get the right bolts, because if you guys watch my channel, the white car, the white car and the black car both had bent control arm bolts, and that's because I put the wrong ones in. So I mean, you could order stuff. This stuff cost me pennies on the dollar, bro. I mean, legitimately, you could order, you know, for cheap. You could order those oblong locking type flange bolts. And this is Bolts and Nuts, who I get this stuff from. You know, this is, look at this, flanged 10 mil, all right? No, M12, my bad, M12. This is 110 millimeter. Dude, these didn't cost me much at all. These cost me like 15 bucks. Look at, it's the 10.9 hard. This is for my axle. Yeah, I ain't bending that shit stuff. Neo on fire with these topics. That's what I'm talking about. Appreciate you, Tim. I appreciate you guys giving me support for, you know, this wasn't the type of live stream you thought it was going to be, was it? I mean, I know Kenny Sean got a lot of flack for the video that he had just put out, but you know, there was a lot of truth in some of the stuff that he was saying. You know what I mean? There was some things in there that I didn't, you know, I agreed with quite a bit. Wrong bolts. Now, listen, this wrong bolt, I mean, use the transmission and axle as an example. It also follows, you know, with the interior. Dude, there's so many, like NPD and LMR and American Muscle all have like literally every screw possible for these cars in a repop version. Now, are they expensive? Yeah, but you don't want to be, we'll get into that. Wrong bolts, nuts, whatever. You know what I mean? Where can I get a replacement fusible link? NPD. Now, I keep using NPD as an example because, like, I'm really impressed with that website. They've been around a long time. You know, they just, their paint is on point, their interior paint's on point, and they're just a restoration. I mean, Fox Resto, I think, has some stuff, so you want to check them out as well. And like I said, they don't pay me to tell you that. You know, I'm just giving you my honest opinion of these websites. I don't get, I mean, I'm honestly not even a sponsor of Hanlon. Hanlon is just, I do a lot of business with Hanlon, and they're kind of more of like a partner. We're like together. You know, I'm never going to go to another transmission place because I still do business outside with Neo Mustangs and what I do for a living with them. So they didn't, you know, they gave me the TKX because they had no problem with that because it was, you know, practically paid for. I'm not saying that. Anyway, I love your enthusiasm. I appreciate that, Lockness. I appreciate it. I love topics like this. And I'm sorry that if I miss your comment, I'm sorry. I just love talking about Fox bodies. It's what I do for a living. It's what I've been doing for 20 years. And I talk too damn much. Excuse my French. Sorry about the kiddos. So, moving on. Also use anti-seize. I mean, I guess, unless you want to look like the Tin Man. I'm just kidding. Is Brutal still running? He's still running live, huh? Cool. Anyways, moving on. Here we go. I can't relate to everything. I dig it. Hey, listen, that's why I'm doing this on a live stream at not. I mean, we're already 50 minutes in. I'm doing this on a live stream so you guys can go back and see what I'm talking about. And we'll probably revisit this in a video, and I'll probably revisit this again because there's a number of things that I still want to talk about. There's just not 10 of them. So number 4, I think, is 2. Now, don't throw your ECU out was number 4. Number 4, you're building a Foxbody. Okay? You're ready to modify it, right? Like, what's the first things we want to do? We want to go fast. We want to go fast. Shake and bake, baby. But one of the first things, probably one of the easiest and smallest dumb things that can shut you down is vacuum lines. Now, let me explain. If you're running a carbureted car, I want you to know that you still want to run vacuum to your check valve. And this is what I'm talking about right here. There's a check valve right here, okay? And it feeds from your vacuum source. What that check valve does is it goes into the 2 reservoirs that's inside of this fender underneath the plastic, okay? If you're running AC or you're running heater carb car, you still need a vacuum source to your heater box for it to function properly. See what I mean? So for you EFI guys, same thing. You still, if you're starting to delete some of your vacuums, and I don't know, I was going to have Cousin Paul show me one, but there's a big vacuum section. What's up, Donnie B in the house? What's up, Donnie B? There's a big vacuum section right here. If you're deleting your AC or smog or whatever, there's a massive set of vacuums and thermoculator valves or something. Is that right? Thermal, whatever. The part of the smog that all require vacuum sources. So if you're going to go through, I've fixed so many Mustangs where all it was a vacuum source. And your car legitimately only needs the fuel pressure regulator and the brake booster for the most part to run properly. But, you know, in a Foxbody, there's a million vacuums going everywhere. So if you're actually building a Foxbody and you start modifying, you start putting an intake on, you want to pay attention to your vacuum source. You want to pay attention to your tree. Because if you miss one and it's running open vacuum, no matter how you tune it, no matter what you do to it, it's not going to change the way it runs. It could run really crappy, or it could run really good. See what I'm talking about? So vacuum lines are don't mess. Okay. So if you're building a Foxbody, a no-go would be not paying attention to your vacuum lines, especially if you're, like I said, changing your upper lower intake. So I definitely am glad that I mentioned that. I've seen, listen, that will shut your night down. That will be, I've seen people not have vacuums on, and it's easy to miss. Like I said, there's a clump of vacuums right here. Even if you're running your smog, very easy. These vacuums break really easy. Where's my vacuum box at? I'll show y'all. Thought I had a section of them right here. Yeah. I mean, they're all over the place. If you don't pay attention to your vacuums, you know, I mean, these are the switches I'm talking about. Like if you're running a smog, or you've deleted your smog or AC or whatever, you could probably pull these switches off. But like you see here, look. Well, it just broke off a second ago. Like these things just crack and break off constantly. And then if you left that, look, say you deleted some of your vacuums changing your intake. You left that, that's going to create a vacuum source problem. Your car's going to idle high. It won't respond to any sort of like TPS and IAC. So those are just the tricks of the trade, man. I've fixed so many Foxbodies coming home that, you know, just it was just vacuums. It was like the EGR was stuck open. That's another one that always sucks. But hey, Danny, what do you think about the N41 cam? I love it. It'll be a good cam in the 351 Lockness. Oh, let me bring that up. Could actually show the comment now. So if anybody's running an N41 cam and a 351, and we'll get back into the last top three, let Lockness know. I left my Foxbody walking the starter relay went bad. Uh-oh. That box of bolts, where did you get them? Was it just the same ones that you did? Are you talking about anti-rush? Are you talking about what the box of bolts that I just had with the axle? I'll show you if you guys want to see it. Hey, man, I'm the guy who just got the GT40 head string here. What's up, Chris? If Frankenstein's still here, that's the guy who bought it. N61 is better. Okay, so anti-rush, are you talking about the box I just showed on the channel, the axle boxes, the axle? Okay, so I wanted to get hardcore bolts for my axle. All the axles are M12. Some of them are 100. It depends on what control arms you run. 100, anywhere between 100 and 120 millimeter, because they don't go by inches with the metric, the M12s. So I ordered all my stuff from Bolts and Nuts. It was pretty cheap. Flanged phosphate and oil. These are my rear axle bolts. These are one set of them. I bought the 110s and the 120s millimeters. That's what that means. And then I bought the nuts, the corrugated nuts. I don't know what they're called. Nope, yep, lock nuts. That fit them. So that's what's in my axle. They're 10.9 hardened, so they ain't bending anytime soon. And literally that cost me like 20 bucks. And I actually bought more than I needed, the 110s and the 120s, because I didn't know which ones I was going to use on my control arms. So it's just, not only are they better than that crap they give you in most of these control arm kits, but at least you know you're not going to bend that, bend that control arm bolt. You know what I mean? Got any of those? Those are gone. Plus one, what Donnie B said. Donnie B said an N41 and a 351 was slightly milder than a 302, but it'll still be a decent upgrade. We just gave away one too, so shout out to Donnie B. If you guys don't know who Donnie B is, he has his own Mustang channel, about 4,000 subscribers. He also runs Anderson Ford Motorsports YouTube page, and he is the manager at Anderson Ford Motorsport. So if you guys don't know who Anderson Ford Motorsport is and you're new to the Foxbody world, Anderson Ford Motorsports has been around since the early 90s. So they're kind of like the go-to people, you know what I mean? Like LMR is now-ish, I guess you want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. Can someone do a cam test for me? I bought a Howard's cam Super Vic. I'd like to know, get into, okay. Anyways, moving on to we got to write down number 4. What was that? It was the vacuum lines. That's super important, dude. Vacuum lines will, You'll put a whole car together. You'll get that thing running, and the vacuum lines won't be right, and you'll be like, what happened? But here's the thing about that too. Vacuum lines. So here's the thing about that too. If you're running a speed density car and you just got it, it's an 86, 87, mid 88, because that's the only speed density Foxbodies that I've like messed with, and you don't actually have the vacuum source hooked up to the map sensor at that point, it's actually called a BAP sensor, your car will just smoke and will run like crap. See what I'm saying? So kind of caveat on that. It's kind of a vacuum source that will ruin your day as a speed density owner. Keep that in mind. I've been Donnie B chat and found his channel this week. I was trying to learn about, okay. Lockless Fox, I bought a set of aluminum heads and I'm going to have 9.75 and one compressor. What cam would be best? Honestly, man, it's whatever cam you want to run. Trick flow stage 1, N41. Just make sure your valve springs on those aluminum heads, find out what they're rated for lockness, and make sure that they're going to be okay. You know what I mean? Are you able to explain the EGR passages, non-EGR, more than the heads and the intakes? So what do you mean by that? You mean like the GT40 versus stock? So, moving on. Number 3. You guys are going to like this one. I probably had my hands on probably 300 dash harnesses. If you're going to drive your car a lot, daily drive your car a lot, you're not building your car for purpose. What I mean by purpose is coyote swap for like a stock, coyote stock class. You're not trying to, race it light as might where you're like gutting the car or whatever. If you're actually going to drive the car and you're going to put a radio in the car, or you don't want to put a radio in the car, do not cut the radio wires. This is 2021, 2022. There is many companies for like $10 on Amazon that sells cannon plugs that fits not only the DIM mod for the 417 Fox swap, but for pretty much any radio out there. And this is pretty much I have seen since the Foxbodies, 80s and 90s kind of came from that. It is like not common to find a dash harness that has a full radio harness in it, because they've been cut for so long over all the years for the aftermarket radios. So like if you're putting together a radio and you're putting together a setup in your car, in your interior, and you're building it, don't cut the radio wires to fit your radio. Most likely it's got a universal cannon plug anyways, but that can cause a serious fire, because most people that have cut these radio harnesses never actually taped or burned or cleaned the ends, and those can easily touch the radio frame, which is metal and grounded, and just fry up your whole car. You see what I mean? I've seen lots of fire in Foxbodies, and I can tell you that radio wires probably were the culprit for the interior, because the burn came from the middle. You see what I mean? And knowing dash harnesses, the only other thing that I could think of would be the hazard switch cannon plugs. They got 2 on the back of the hazard switch. Those cannon plugs always break. And if you get 2 of those connections start to touch and they're just going to set stuff on fire. Chris, okay, like you were saying, the heads I got from you were non-EGR. So let's go back to what Chris was asking. Chris was asking, are you able to explain the EGR passage and non-EGR heads and intakes? Okay, so he's what Chris is asking is, and let me put the 3 down, don't cut radio wires. And this goes, just don't cut wires in general. Don't cut radio. Anyways, what Chris is asking in the comments below is he's asking about the EGR passages. Okay, so one of the biggest mods, which is on my Junkyard mod live stream, one of the biggest mods for, for doing Foxbodies is the GT40 heads and intake, right? So what he's asking is the EGR, in '93 when GT40 first came out with the Lightnings and the Cobras, they had thermoculator valve. Okay, so they had like a smog setup, and there was passages that were built into those heads. I think their number, I think their production number was F3ZZ, and of course Lightning was 1/2 inch, and Cobra was 7/16. I think they both were made in Mexico too. But what he's asking is, I actually sold him a set of GT40 heads, and the GT40 heads that I got are actually Explorer 3 bars. They're F3ZE, and they do not have an internal EGR, and neither does the Explorer GT40 intake 97.5 and up. They deleted it, so you don't have that Explorer, which is the popular upgrade, didn't use. So if you're gonna start hybrid swapping GT40 parts into your just stock 5.0 Foxbody, the Cobra heads and the Cobra intake OEM have, and you have to run smog. You got to get those specific items to run smog, because you can't run an external smog in an internal setup. Does that make sense? Sorry. Don't make more than 500 horsepower or Chevy guys will cry. You're right. Neil, what suspension is best for a, let's answer this question. Neil, what suspension is best for a 500 horsepower Fox? So many options. Be honest with you, factory. I started with the tubular control arm, the tubular K-member in the front, control arms, and the coilover setup. But honestly, to date, my black and my white car both run the factory cut GT springs on some half spherical control arms in the back. I had to replace my dash harness on Project Phoenix. They cut the, don't cut connectors. Just tuck them. Lockless Fox, since you have aftermarket pistons. Okay, so we're moving on. We are on number 2. We're about an hour and 10 minutes in. We are on number 2, and I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back. I had a number 7 that I. Okay. We'll talk about that at the end. So number 2. Let's talk about interior. Okay, here we go. Number 2, don't paint your interior with Dollar General paint. They don't sell a matte. They don't sell interior paint at Dollar General. I've seen it so much. If you're going to paint your interior, guys, if you want to get a little crazy and a little, with some of the colors, use the proper paint. I did it. I've done it. I did it 15, 20 years ago. Go to the dollar store. It's, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Lockness. Yeah, it's, you go to the dollar store and you buy black paint and think you're going to paint your whole damn interior with $6 worth of rattle can paint. Now, there's nothing wrong with rattle can paint, and if Cousin Paul's here in the chat, he will probably roll over in his chair if you used cheap paint. Now, does cheap paint work? I don't know. I used it years ago, and it would just fall off. But the paint that we use now is from NPD. It's like the best thing since DuPont. And like we legitimately don't use interior paint. Please do me a favor, because interior paint sucks to remove. Absolutely nightmare. Who did it? Sean just did it. Sean did it at Donnie B. Or excuse me, Sean did it at on Funky 5.0's site. On his one of his he was doing the Cooper interior panels. Somebody painted them with cheap dollar paint, and it was a nightmare to get it off. So if you're going to do interior paint, guys, go check out my channel. I show you how to do some dash restoration. We do a lot of restoration. Shout out to Cousin Paul. Huge for the, he's huge for the channel, huge for the business. We've been making interior paint better for years, and we're very proud of it. Matter of fact, I think Caleb runs some console pieces in Dad's Pops cars. So shout out to him for letting me do that. Jason Fields, man, I appreciate the $9.99 super chat for the channel. Support the channel, my guy. I do appreciate you. I think this isn't the first time he's donated to the channel. So, man, I appreciate you at all. I appreciate you a lot. What's up, Neo? What's up, fat boy? I used the V6 front springs from a 2000 Mustang 4-cylinder rear springs. It worked pretty good. Proper vinyl paint comes out. Yeah, what Jimmer said. You know, proper vinyl paint looks like this. So I'll show you what I got. When we paint some interior, you know, we got smoke. Well, we got red. Cousin Paul is out of black, apparently. Come on, Cousin Paul. Oh, there it is. No, it isn't. So we got titanium. So like the type of interior paint that I use, is SCM color coat. See that? This smoke is on point. I'm telling you right now. I got this from NPD. I tried to actually get them to sponsor me. They told me to go pound salt. I mean, not literally, but this is the titanium. Actually, the titanium paint from NPD, the SCM 159993 is on point. The one from LMR is purple. I don't like it. It looks like opal. So that's what I'm talking about. When you restore, I mean, and there's some vinyl prep, and there's some plastic prep that you can buy, but we just use brake cleaner. I'll be honest with you. We use a lot of brake cleaner. Obviously we wash it off, but the brake cleaner will get all that oil, all that crap from years of fingers and you know, interior wipe down stuff, whatever. If you're gonna paint your stuff, paint it with good paint. What's up, Neo? I'm sorry I'm late. Got COVID. I appreciate you stopping in, Ken. I'm sorry to hear that, man. SEM is great stuff. Yep. Color code. So we got like reds and blues and titaniums and smokes and blacks. Actually, we use the the 15013 black paint. Now, it's the same as this, but it's black. I think it's the same color code. But we don't get it from MPD. We get it from local store. We paint a lot of black. Cousin Paul does an amazing job. So, where you at, Cousin Paul? I know you're in here. How the SEM Scarlet matchup. Actually, they got it right at MPD. They got the medium, they got the Scarlet, and then they got the Canyon Red. So, like, a lot of people don't know the differences. There's actually a difference between an 87, 89, and 90 to 93 red color. Not that anybody cares, but I'm going to be honest with you. In the Foxbodies are already in the resto mod state. They're already in the restoration state. So blue and red and gray, guys, don't throw your interior away. I'm telling you, people want that stuff, especially the odd colors that everybody threw away for 20 years. Just trust me. Yeah, Neo, I'm on a budget. What are your thoughts on a 331, 347 street with stock 302 heads? Do not put stock heads on a 347, 331. I'm telling you, don't do it. Stock 302 heads will choke the crap out of that motor. If anything, pay attention to Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, buy yourself a set of secondhand $600 heads or whatever. At a minimum, find yourself a set of GT40 heads. At a minimum, if you have to go that route. Do not put them on stock heads. Electric parts cleaner works well too. I never knew that. So GS462 said electric parts cleaner works well too. No residue. Brake cleaner good for killing spiders. That's right. Does LMR have a good color matches? I'm not a sponsor with LMR, and I'm not here to say yay or no, nay, whatever. But I got away from LMR's paints and all their formulas because they didn't impress me anymore. Their prices went through the roof, and you know, the titanium was really what pulled me away. Because when I buy paint, I buy them in cases, so I'll get, you know, it was like 15 a can, 18 a can for like ever. And then it went to like 30 a can. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I tried NPD's paint, and it ended up being the paint that I wanted anyways. It was the SEM Originals. So, yeah, I went to NPD, and that's all I buy with them. The tan interior stuff, I've actually painted tan. We painted it all. The blue comes out super good. LMR won't match faded, but I'm just going to tell you what, LMR's paint's not terrible. It did work good for years, but don't buy their titanium. I've got a set of Brodix going on a stock block turbo head. All right. What do you think of Flowtech heads? Send it. There's nothing wrong with cheap heads. Try them. Remember the Patriot heads? We've tried them and did really well with them. $800 set of heads back 15 years ago. They don't sell them no more, I don't think. Borderline hate my tan interior. Dude, tan interior is amazing. If I could have tan interior in one of my cars, I'd have it. I'm not even going to lie to you. They actually made a tan tweed, but I think it was vert only. I think it was vert only. But I did see a tweed cloth seat. I never seen blue. They never made a tweed cloth blue. They always made the velour. Now, you guys got to understand, velour is like the seat that comes in a 4-cylinder. The tweed is like the GT seat that you see in like GTs. Coupes didn't have tweed until 91, FYI. No color until 91. Actually, 1990 was the first year that Coupes went black interior. They still had the velour cloth 4-cylinder seats in them, just so you know. LMR dark charcoal was a shade off. Yeah, so original dark, although I think my original, okay. Detroit Foxbody D. What's your thoughts on the 408 AFR 220s Vortec V1s? Tubular intake's going to choke that up. Like, Mo, don't run that GT40. Sell that tubular intake, get some money, buy yourself a trick flow, bro, or a spider or something. That 408 wants to eat, my man. I hear Flowtech is a good upgrade. It's not terrible. You guys think 202 valve and 1.6 valve plus 13 piston on a stock 302 will do fine? Remember, a stock 302 only moves so much air, the stroke from it. Dora Washington, do you see the video I sent you on my Foxbody burning to the ground? I didn't see it. Where'd you send that at? AFR has some budget heads. Yeah, they got the Enforcer heads that I really want to try. They're only like $550 or something, but I don't know if they're any good. So let me get into the last thing on my list. We'll put number 2. I think interior paint was a good one because over the 20 years that I've been collecting Fox bodies, flipping them, parting them out, restoring them, or whatever, of the 20 years, I think interior paint's like the ugliest. It's always garbage. And it's just like nobody ever does it right that I get them from. But it is what it is. Most of the cars that I get are project cars anyways. Interior paint. Done right. Okay, number 1 goes with interior as well. Now, it probably shouldn't be number 1, but I do have a bonus one after that. Number 1 is interior screws. Guys, you're building a Fox body. And I don't know how many times I've picked up parts cars, rollers, project cars, and all the interiors out of it. Well, I can almost 99% guarantee you that whoever took that interior out didn't put any of those screws in a box. So what I have seen over the years is a crap show of wood screws and drywall screws. Interiors don't use wood screws. Or do yourself a favor, go check out LMR, go check out American Muscle, check out NPD. Hell, even or some of these other sites that sell, secondhand, eBay, whatever, they sell interior kits. Guys, put your car together. If you buy a roller or if you take all your interior out and lose your screws, don't use stuff from the hardware store. Put it together right, because most of that stuff is metric and used like a torque head and stuff. I hate interiors, put them, yeah. So, I've seen so many wood screws that were so many interiors that were put together with drywall screws that drives me bat crazy. And I'm telling you, it's just something that you don't want to do. There's too many sites out there. There's too many people selling the actual screw packs. They get you you can get the whole console screw set, you can get the whole dash screw set. There's not a whole lot of screws that hold together that stuff, but they are pretty meticulous. So I mean, it is what it is. LMR will sell a complete interior hardware. So there you go. So we don't live in 1999 anymore where nobody has screws. So trust me, I know you're probably trying to save a couple bucks on your budget, Fox body budget build and whatever, but you probably get, if you're going to take your interior apart, let me give you a solution. If you're going to take your interior apart, buy a bunch of freezer bags. I have literally thousands of freezer bags, and a marker in freezer bags. Dash, 20 bolts, console, 15 bolts. You see what I'm talking about? So buy yourself a bunch of baggies, and then you'll never have that problem. Now, some of us have OCD. Some of you guys are OCD like me, and I got to have them all out, laid out somewhere out that's easy to access. So I get that. When I disassembled my bag, I use baggies. See, Brad just caveat. When I disassembled, I use baggies and a Sharpie. Yep, see, so makes things super easy. What's your thoughts on a Mexican block shooting for 700? Send it. So number one is interior screws. So, I mean, this was kind of like not in really good order because I'm going to be honest with you, some of these other ones were better than interior screws, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised on what you see with Foxbodies nowadays, especially people selling rollers and project cars and whatever. Anyways, Loch Ness. Okay, so Victor Sanchez, how's it going, Dan? Yes, I bought the LRMF screw kit. It's labeled. Perfect. Like, we don't live in 1999 no more, so there's no reason for us to be using wood screws and hardware from Home Depot. Come on, bro. I'm gonna be judging these Foxbodies one day. You could do a whole video on just the interior. Yeah, easy. Like, I think I was talking earlier in the channel about doing a series of just basic mechanics. It's not like how LMR does their videos, but there's some other websites. CJ does it. I think there's a handful of people that actually do, how-to videos. But I'm going to do my own version of no BS. Like, this is how you take a dash out, and it's not going to be time lapse, but it's going to be like boom, 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 done. Like 3 to 4 minutes tops. It's almost like a YouTube short. So that way, when you're going in to get that nasty heater core out or fix that heater core box, then you know exactly where the screws are that are in your baggie that I just told you to use. So, Fox, okay. Newfie Mustang, hello from Newfoundland. Hey, man, what's up, Canada? Canada in the house. I can confirm there's some crazy people out there, and they use duct tape and all kind of stuff. Speaking of the material, the only thing wrong with my 86 map light, that's normal. I appreciate the thumbs up, JK. All right, so I have a bonus one before we get done, and I'll start answering some questions if you guys have. And if you guys have any questions in the chat, what do you guys think of the StreamYard? What do you guys think of it popping right now? But don't say anything just yet. These are my last two, and there's two. It's not the top 10, it's the top 12, but I'm giving you a bonus. If you're buying a Foxbody and you're getting ready to build it, I don't care if you're doing it in the front of your garage. I don't care if you're doing it in a massive garage. I don't care where you're putting it at. Don't hook the radiator core support. Been way too many Foxbodies that people have moved around the shop or drug it down the street because they were broken down. That core support is stupid weak. If you hook that thing and you start dragging it down the street, you are going to bend the core support, and your radiator will probably fall out to begin with. So do not do that. If you got to hook somewhere, hook on the K-member. There's a bunch of holes if it's factory. You can hook right behind the K-member. Don't hook your rad support. You will bend it very easily. It will bend instantly. Do not hook support. My white car is destroyed because I hooked it 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And I wasn't paying attention. I'm just dragging it around the shop. Next thing I know, I look at my radiator. I'm like, why is my radiator falling out? I hooked my core support. I can't fix it now. I got to literally cut it out, put another section in or whatever. I've been lazy about it. I'm not going to lie, but I'm just going to put a tubular one in. Don't hook the support. If you want to get maximum value out of your Foxbody in 10 years, in 5 years, in 5 months, in 5 days, don't hook your support. Because that's one of the things I look at. I'm just looking at them. I just shake my head. I'm looking for kinks in the front K-member. I'm looking for all that stuff. I wish someone would remake a new heater box. I appreciate it. Yeah, I know. No, Dan. No, Donnie. Just keep. Okay. Neo, do you sell headliners and refinish damaged headliners? Okay, so that's another one of my list of how-to videos. Honestly, guys, if you have a Joann Fabrics near you, They actually still sell the smoke, the black, the red, the blue. They actually still smell. They actually still sell the actual fabric with padding. You can fix your own headliner. $10 can of headliner glue from parts store, and about $20 for a yard or so of headliner material and a damn razor blade. Best thing to do is take the headliner, flip it over on its face. Once you get it sprayed, listen, you take a rubber. Okay. So many things I can do on this channel. Put a rubber glove on, peel the old crap off your old headliner, and just take this rubber glove, and it will take almost every bit of that glue off. It'll just roll off. You sweep it right off. Get that. It's called an ABS board. Get that ABS board nice and flat on the corners. Okay. Bricks. Or, bring your headliner material down. Pre-cut it to where it needs to go because you got to cut out for the map light. Bring it over, spray it real good. The headliner material takes, or the glue takes like 10 or 15 minutes to cure. You don't want to just set it down on there. And then you put your headliner material back down on top of it. Maybe put something heavy with like some, some board material, whatever. Come back in a few days, a few hours, whatever, and it's done. $25, you can restore your whole headliner. Why you got to pay $400 and have it shipped, and it's atrocious. Dan, have you ever monitored your back pressure? I know I got some back pressure, but yes, I have, and it gets up there around 30, 25. It's not great. Good night, Jimmer. It's nice seeing you. Good night. I appreciate you. So the last one I'm gonna talk about tonight, and it goes hand in foot with don't hook your radiator core support. If you're building a Foxbody, don't jack it up on the floor pan or the rocker panel. Terrible idea. Don't jack it up on its seam either. All Foxbodies are put together with spot welds. There's a seam underneath the rock panel. Usually it's bent at this point. But if you bend the seam legitimately up in the front fender, you will pretty much bend the fender bolt, which pulls your fender and makes all that gapping and all that, your fender's going to be off. Don't jack it up on the rocker panel. Don't jack it up on the floor pan. It'll come through. It'll bend the floor pan. If you got subframe connectors, jack it up on the subframe connectors. Torque boxes, you can jack it up on the flat part of the torque boxes all day and every day and twice on Sundays. No problem. Okay? If you're just now building a Foxbody and you want to know some tips and tricks, I just went through like 12 of them for you. And these are the top 10 things that you should not do to your Foxbody if you're building a Foxbody from roller status, from project status, or if you're even taking your Foxbody apart. And we'll hit up on this again another day, just like we did with the junkyard mods. And I'm going to continue to make some pretty fire content here on live stream and some pretty fire content, well, not so fire content on my videos. But it seems I have a good time. I have a better turnout, I think, on my darn live streams than I ever did my videos, to be honest with you. But I really need some comments. So I got a few more minutes. We'll answer some questions. If you got any questions, I did this in a live stream format, so you guys can go back through and we'll go through it real quick. Don't cut, don't mess with the HD ballots on your headlights until you upgrade the wiring. Don't cut your spare floor. Don't cut your engine harness at all if you're carb swapping, or if you're just, you just want to get it out of the way. Don't throw your ECUs out if they don't work. Do your wire tuck right. Don't use the wrong bolts when you're putting your car together. If you're doing some high performance modding or whatever, make sure your vacuum lines are right, because those are a sneaky way for your car not to run right. Don't cut the radio harness or any of the interior harnesses because you're not using them. Use the proper interior paint and prep and interior screws. And of course, I just told you, don't hook your darn radiator core support and jack your car up in the right spot. God bless it. So, I need some custom AC. Okay, so what do you guys think of the live stream? You guys like this stuff? Figured I'd start the year off about an hour and a half talking about fire. Legit. What do you guys think of the StreamYards? Coming in clear, coming in loud and clear. Is it better than the OBS that I used before? You have any, Joshua Flattery? I like the fact that I can bring you guys up on the screen. Have any tips on regasketing an entire 5.0? Bolts are reusable. How far should I go to break down and cleaning? Break it down and clean everything. Regasket, valve springs, all of it. Dan, where are you located? Can you T5 swap my car? The last T5 swap I did was about $2,000, and not including the swap. And we're in Northeast Ohio. I've done 3 or 4 of them, and I've actually put them here on the channel. I'm new, but I'm definitely like the last year. Yeah, I think that's cool. StreamYard major upgrade. Yeah, I mean, I got to invest. I invested in the YouTube Buddy, the TubeBuddy. I bought a license for that, and then I bought a license for StreamYard here. And so what's nice is I can bring people in on StreamYard like Funky does on Friday nights. And like I could have brought Hanlon in or Donnie B, and we could talk some change, you know what I mean, for 10 or 15 minutes. And then he'll, you know, we'll just bring special guests in and stuff. Thanks, Neo. Will be a year for grinders. Never give up, folks. Let me see that. Put that up here. The car is the only things that keeps our minds right. That's right. So what do we got in store for 2022? Are you guys ready for Create a Coupe? I know you guys have been asking nonstop about that. At least I've been getting a lot of messages like, when are you gonna put that top on that hatchback? You guys ready for that one? Would you try T56 gears, 7K RPM, and a T5? No. I would put 456s on a T56 and run it at 7K, that's for sure. Any blooper videos in the pipeline? I'm going to try to fit all bloopers in. It's better for sure. I appreciate that, War Admiral. I appreciate you supporting the channel, my man. Been meaning to ask the GT40P swap, what spark plugs do I use? If you're boosted, the TR6s, is it 4775? I can't remember. TR6 NGKs. If you're running NA, I just run the Autolite 104s. What should the stock backlash on the rear end? I don't know. I run mine at about 8. You want a video modifying a bone stock 86? Quality is good and great topic. Okay. So guys, I want to give a shout out to my man Hanlon Motorsports. He's my partner and sponsor, whatever you want to call it. Donnie B, Anderson Ford Motorsports. Matter of fact, Donnie, I need you to call me tomorrow. I need a trick flow valve spring kit for a subscriber's GT40 heads we were putting together for Chris, if he's still here in chat. And shout out to Frankenstein Garage for hooking that up for me. Neil, are you going to do any more fuel system videos in the black car? I mean, are you going to do any more fuel system videos? Do you suggest a different video? War Admiral, you on Facebook? Yeah, War Admiral 363 is on Instagram and Facebook. Anyways, who else? So shout out to my man Blue Oval Media for, I mean, I know he gave me quite a bit of shout outs tonight. So he made a pretty fire topic last week with the, top 10 things not to do to your Foxbody. So if you guys get a chance to go check that video out, it's kind of a done and fun a little bit. So you gotta, gotta be easy on it, but it's a pretty good topic for sure. Nice crowd in the chat tonight. That's for sure. Guys, I appreciate the guys in the green. If you guys are interested in the club membership, it has its perks. We put our videos out early. We're doing some merch for the memberships. So it's the join button below. Check that out. Any sort of support for the channel always helps. I haven't got my merch thing set up in my website just yet. I keep talking about doing it, but now I can't even talk. What plugs did you run in your stock bottom end turbo car? Just curious. GT40 heads, TR6s, NGKs. The stock heads, we ran 103s on turbo. They're a cold plug. So anyways, with that being said, I want to say thank you to everybody for joining the channel tonight. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe and like below. We will be talking about this again. Again, if I offended anybody in the chat with some of the stuff I said, it wasn't supposed to be like that. We were supposed to chat about top 10 things you probably shouldn't do to your Foxbody in a different mechanical way. You know what I'm saying? Not just a preference thing, because I don't care if you run one-piece headlights or LEDs or whatever. You know what I mean? Do what you want to do to your Foxbodies because they're yours to do. But you know, they are going up in price. You heard that from the Illuminatis. Good plugs for aluminum head turbo. Which head? New Mustangs. Do you get my new address in Oklahoma? I did not. Send that to me in Instagram or here on Facebook. Anyways, if you guys are interested in some merch, just like the guys that won, congratulations to the guys that won in Christmas for the drawing. NeoMustangs@hotmail.com. We have that's my top 10. We have shirts and hats available, 25 each, shipped. So Brodix 195s. I'm not familiar with Brodick ones, to be honest with you. So if about 2 more minutes, if anybody's got some dying questions that they need to ask. And I want to give a shout out to Brutal. It's good to see that he went live tonight. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I apologize that we didn't collaborate very well. At least I didn't. And I think he's actually still live. No, he's gone off 30 minutes ago. So it's good to see him. I haven't talked to him in a long time. You guys know I talk to Brutal all the time, but I haven't talked to him in a while. So shout out to him. Shout out to Foxcast Media. Me and Caleb talk often. We mainly talk about lifting weights, to be honest with you. So we're going to go ahead and kick off the live stream. I appreciate everybody. I think we hit like 110 today. So we're going to do another live stream probably next Sunday at 8 o'clock. We'll talk about something else. I appreciate, supporting the channel comes with the whole StreamYard, man. This was you guys. Guys, I appreciate you supporting the channel. And I was able to buy a good upgrade with TubeBuddy, and I was able to buy a good upgrade with StreamYard. So it was really cool, guys. I do appreciate this. I'm living the dream, man. I'm telling you what. Good night, fellas, and thank you for joining the channel. Let me put that in comment. I don't think I've ever. Have a good night.